Hi, thanks for joining me today. My name's Calyn and we'll be going through a prenatal yoga practice. So just start in a comfortable seated position. Any seated position will do. Start to let the whole body relax. And we're going to take a few releasing breaths. Inhale deeply through both of your nostrils. Exhale out your mouth. 2 more like that. And you can keep your eyes closed or have a soft gaze to the floor as you really start to connect to the ebb and flow of your breath. Relax all the muscles in your face, relax your jaw, relax your shoulders. Bring both of your hands down to baby, to your belly. And just feel the deep connection that you have to one another at this time. Sending your breath to your belly. Sending the warmth of your hands right to baby. And you can release, bring your hands down to your legs. And we'll take a couple shoulder rolls. Inhale, shoulders up towards your ears, and exhale down your back. Inhale, shoulders up. And exhale back and down behind you. One more big circle with the shoulders. Inhale, open your arms up wide to the sky. Gaze can come up, palms together. And start to lower your left hand down to the left hand side and reach over with the right. So creating lots of length and opening in the side of your body. If you feel like you have a bit more space to move further, you can come down onto the forearm. And try and stay connected to your breath. So every inhalation and every exhalation is deliberate and long and expansive. Inhale back up to center. Both arms can come up and all the way to the right hand side. Inhale, come up, bring both arms up, really reach, open up in the chest. And exhale, bring your arms back behind you, interlace your fingers, reach down with your palms as you open the chest, bring the shoulders down the back. This is really nice to help relieve some of the extra weight that we have in the chest at this time. So just keep this in mind. This is a really nice postnatal stretch as well. And you can release your hands, come all the way forward onto your hands and knees into a tabletop position. Hands directly underneath your shoulders and knees underneath your hips. So you can tuck or untuck the back toes, just see how that feels on your knees. If you need a bit of padding for the knees, place a blanket under that area. We'll take a few rounds of cat-cow. If you're familiar with it, in prenatal, we don't want to drop the belly as far, so still keeping the core somewhat engaged. Inhale, bring the chest forward, open up in the throat, gaze can come up. Exhale, round the spine, tuck the chin, tuck the tailbone. Inhale, come forward. Exhale, round the spine. One more round. Back into a neutral tabletop position. Start to walk your palms forward. Come to a depth where you start to feel something in the body and then melt the chest down towards the mat. Slowly come back up. Bring your palms back down to the mat. And you can come back into that position if that works better for you, and tabletop position is another option as well. Otherwise, you'll be coming into downward facing dog. Start to tuck the back toes under, lift the knees, lift the hips all the way up to the sky. Start to pedal out the heels, bend into one knee, bend into the opposite knee. You can bring your feet a little bit wider apart than you might normally do, just to create some more space for belly. Eventually make your way into stillness for a few breaths. Really spread your fingers wide apart so you have a strong base here. Press down with the base of your palms. Shoulders come down the back. Chest melts down towards the legs. Inhale, look forward. And walk with really wide feet all the way to the top of your mat. And then just bring your forearms above the knees and start to rock the hips a little side to side. You can keep a deep bend into the knees or straighten the legs a little bit. Just move around, see how that feels. And you may want to stay here, especially if you're experiencing something like heartburn, or if not, you can start to straighten the legs and allow the upper body to cascade down towards the mat. Release any tension you might be holding onto in your neck and shoulders. Shake the head yes and no. And really allow the whole back body to release. Can you let go even further? Can bend into the knees again if they're not already. Bring your forearms just above the knees, and then with the support of your hands all the way up into a standing position. Come to standing at the top of your mat. Bring your hands down to the sides. Just close your eyes for a moment as you really lengthen the whole body, open up in the chest, and then start to bring some awareness to all the spaces of your body, really pressing the soles of the feet down into the mat. Lift your kneecaps, engage your thighs, tailbone drops slightly, shoulders melt down the back. One releasing breath here. Inhale the nose. Exhale the mouth. Bring your arms up towards the sky. Bring the palms together. And again, we'll just move from side to side, one breath per movement. Back up to center. Exhale, right hand side. Inhale, center. Exhale, left. And shoulders are coming down the back. Head is in line with the arms. Take one last round. And come back to center. Exhale, arms down by your sides. We'll take a balancing posture, tree pose. Find your stillness, awareness into the left foot. So you can even lift the toes up, spread the toes wide apart, and then really root them down into the mat. So imagine that the roots are growing down into the earth beneath you. The leg is lifting up all the way from those roots, really supported and really strong as you start to lift the right foot off of the mat. You can keep the toes down and the heel towards the ankle. Bring your hands together at heart center or hands to the hips. Foot can come to your calf, or with a helping hand, bring the right foot into the inner thigh of the left leg. So still having that really strong and sturdy base from the left leg. Instead of sinking down into the hip, we're really reaching up and then growing the arms up to the sky. You can take Yan Mudra here, the Mudra of Wisdom, pointer finger and thumb together, which will help with your concentration. And we'll take 3 full breaths here. Inhale, bring the palms together. Exhale all the way down to the center of the chest. And then bring your knee forward. See if you can keep your balance. Right foot lifted. And then just extend the leg forward for a moment and slowly release it down. And just shake the legs out, bend into one knee, bend into the opposite knee. Moving to the opposite side. So finding that sturdiness with the right foot, bring the toes off the mat, spread them wide apart, plant them down to the earth, and then really strengthen and lengthen up through the body and start to find your expression of tree pose. So toes can stay on the ground, sole of the foot can come to the calf or to the thigh. If you feel good and balanced here, you can stay with the arms, the hands at heart center, or extend them out like they were branches of a tree, perhaps taking Yan Mudra here. Inhale, bring the palms together. Exhale down through the center line of the body, and then slowly bring the knee forward. Keep the foot lifted, straighten the leg. And lower down to the mat. And then you can just shake everything out here. Bring your hands back behind you. So again, like we did at the beginning of class, interlace the fingers, reach the palms down, and then start to take some big steps out with the feet about as wide as the mat. You can go wider too if that's better for you. Start to hinge forward from the hip joint. Keep the chest lifted. Staying at halfway might be your preference. You may also want support on the thighs to see how you feel. Really listen to your body. Otherwise, you can melt down a little bit further. Hands can come off the lower back, or they can stay there for some support. If you have any discomfort in the hamstrings, you can always bend into the knees a bit more. Just leave lots of space for your belly. Hands back down to the lower back, bend into the knees if they're not already. Come all the way up to standing. And then we'll bring the feet even further than hip distance apart. So heel toe them out a couple times. And you can bring the toes pointing outward. Release the hands out from behind you. And you may adjust the width of your stance if needed. Bring your hands to your thighs and bend into your knees. Sink the hips down low. Lengthen up through the spine all the way out the crown of your head. So if you notice your shoulders start to come up, bring the shoulders down the back, sink down a little bit lower. And then just rock a little side to side. See how that feels. Come into stillness and center and start to take a little bit of a twist. So bringing the left shoulder forward as you bring the right shoulder back. Slowly come through center, opposite side. And come back through center. Inhale, straighten the legs, straighten the arms all the way up. Exhale, bend into the elbows, creating cactus, arms bend back into the knees. Sink down lower. Inhale, straighten the limbs. Exhale, lower. Take a few more. Really move with control. This time, stay low, full breaths. Inhale, lengthen up. Exhale, arms down by your sides. Step up to the top of your mat. Bring your hands down to the mat and step back into downward facing dog. Slowly lower the knees down. And just walk your hands back a little bit so you're stacking the joints again, the wrists right under the shoulders. And you can tuck or untuck the toes. Inhale, lengthen the right leg back behind you and point the toes downward, really reach back with the heel. Option to extend the left arm forward. Hug baby in towards your spine. Gaze can come down to the top of your mat so you have length in the back of your neck. Slowly lower the left hand down. And then just start to bring the ball of the right foot down to the mat. Reach back with the heel so you really open up in the back of your leg. And release the knee down. Rock the hips side to side. Opposite side. Inhale, extend the left leg back behind you. Reaching down with the toes to back with the heel. Really straighten the leg and strengthen the leg. Energize the leg. Option to extend the right arm forward. Slowly lower the right palm down. Left ball of the foot can come down to the mat. And release the knee down. Rock the hip side to side. Come all the way to sitting on your heels and then come into a seated position. Bring your feet out in front of you and the soles of the feet together, knees wide. Create a diamond shape with the legs. So instead of bringing the feet really close to you, which is another variation of Baddha Konasana, we're bringing the feet a little bit further away. You can move the fleshy part out from underneath you to be really grounded down onto the mat. And just connect to your breath. Option to stay here if this is feeling really good. If you want some support, you can put rolled up blankets or bolsters, blocks on the outer edges of your knees. Or you can start to hinge forward. And just take it micro movement by micro movement. Make sure that it feels nice on your body, that you're creating some space and some opening and helping to prepare the body for birth. If you have any props and you'd like to place your forehead there, you can stack some blocks or put a bolster. Or you can even bend into your elbows and just allow the forehead to rest in the palms. And release the hands. Come all the way up to seated. Bring the knees together. Bring the feet as wide as the mat. And start to rock the knees from side to side. Hands come down by your sides, fingertips pointing forward. And lift your chest. Hands can be even more rooted down. Straighten the arms. And then start to press the soles of the feet down into the mat. And lift your hips up into a reverse tabletop position. Slowly release down. And just come into a cross-legged position for a moment. Bring your hands onto the legs. Open the chest as you take a really deep inhale. And exhale, let it all go. We'll find our way into final resting. So prenatal, usually nicest to lay on the left-hand side. If there's another position that you like and are comfortable in, feel free to take that. You can use your arm as a pillow. You can also play around with Bending into the top knee, straightening the bottom leg. Just allow yourself a few moments to connect back to your breath. If you have time to stay here longer, I highly encourage you to stay in rest. Otherwise, with helping hands, come back up into a seated position on your mat. And just close your eyes for one more moment. Bring your hands together at heart center into Namaskar Mudra. Thank you for sharing your practice with me today and for doing this for yourself and for your baby. Namaste. Thanks for practicing with me today. Hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, if you could give it a like, comment below, or subscribe to my channel, that will help me to be able to create more content for you. Thanks so much. Namaste.